All right, ladies and gents, welcome to this week's Walk and Talk. And we got some breaking news out today. Some pretty serious stuff has just been announced yet again, actually. The Israeli Defense Minister has just announced a new phase of war has begun. This is out of Politico. The Israeli army has just announced it's transferring their elite 98th Force from Gaza to the Lebanon front in preparation for a new phase of war. This is according to their defense minister, although there seems to be some conflict between himself and the Prime Minister over this announcement. I'm not exactly sure what's happened here, but it seems as though he wasn't supposed to have made such a strong statement. We're going to start walking in a second. I just wanted to give you a beautiful view of the island behind me. It's a hot day here today. The unit is made up of as many as 20,000 elite soldiers, including paratroopers and commandos, to join the 36th Division under the Northern Command. Now, the report says that the brigade was originally scheduled to continue fighting in Gaza, but it was decided in recent days to transfer it to the north, while some commentators say the Gaza objective has mainly been achieved. I wonder exactly what the objective was that has now been achieved, but the military is definitely on the move then. Khan, the Israeli state broadcaster authority, noted the force left their base in southern Gaza 3 weeks ago to an unspecified locations. Fears are now growing of a full-scale invasion of Lebanon by Israeli forces. The Israeli defense minister has gone on to say that this is a new phase of conflict, focusing military efforts with Lebanon following a series of explosions targeting Hezbollah's communication devices. Now, we've had an update on the death toll and also the injured, and it's pretty horrific, actually, the number of civilians and children that were caught up in these explosions, so much so that the United Nations have condemned the action, as have members of the European Union, and the Lebanese Prime Minister has called them a violation of their sovereignty. Many other countries have also quickly condemned the explosions with no regard to human life due to being inflicted within a civilian population, with a number of children caught up in the blast. The UN Security Council is scheduled to meet on Friday to discuss this actions that were taken, and also to discuss the growing regional concerns of confrontation. But it looks as though, reading the reports, that this could be going towards conflict. Another big thing that's taken place, which again, you're not seeing a lot of the stuff I talk about in the mainstream media, but the United Nations has just, the General Assembly has just had a vote, and it was voted in favor 124 to 14 against. And this is in favor of a resolution demanding Israel withdraw from Palestinian authorities within 12 months. There were 43 nations that abstained, the UN saying that this was due to strong lobbying by the United States. And this is also now going to be investigated. Goodness me, I mean, this is just one thing after another. All of these investigations at such a high level. Nothing really ever comes of them, though, if you've ever noticed that. Nothing ever comes of these big declarations or investigations against one country or another. But I want to move over to the US for a moment here, because we haven't done as much coverage on the US in recent days or even weeks, because things have been so tense globally. We've had a lot of geopolitical events that had to be covered, since the mainstream media aren't really covering any of this. And if they're not covering it, then you don't understand what this means as we move forward. Again, it's so important to be informed and therefore prepared for events as they come about. Otherwise, you end up getting completely caught out. So there's been a big article overnight, big story about explosives found near a Trump rally. Now, This story has been developing over the last 24 hours quite heavily. So I'll start with how the headlines began. Explosives reported near Trump rally on Long Island as police hunt for the suspect. After the second attempt of the life of Donald Trump last weekend, police in New York were investigating an explosive device in a vehicle near the site of his upcoming rally, with the original report saying the device was found just hours before his scheduled speech there. So that was the original news that came out on this. However, the coverage has since changed quite dramatically, saying that after investigations, there was no explosive device found, and they think that this was a false alarm. However, we've had even more articles come out saying that police are still investigating a suspect who reportedly fled into the woods after conducting a routine sweep where they found explosives. So either way, it seems as though they cannot seem to agree on what happened with this device. Was there a device? Was there not a device? Was there a vehicle? Was there not a vehicle? Whose fault was it? Was it the dogs? Either way, the security team for Trump is being ramped up very heavily, especially as we move towards this November 5th election, which is going to be pretty intense this year. Look at that. Someone's just left a wheelbarrow there. I could use that. Either way, this is going to be intense election, November 5th. And another thing that's just come in that's quite exciting for me is I've just had another video testimonial come in for my latest program. So if you're still on the fence with that, check out what Jason had to say here.
My name is Jason. I'm from the United States, and I just completed Neil's Rapid Cashflow Blueprint. And I must say that this course is phenomenal. It is truly life-changing. It was very powerful. Before, I was just going through life and letting life happen to me. And whatever life threw at me changed me. But now I see that you can change your life just by creating a solid plan, giving it some real thought, and creating a plan that it's almost fail-proof. I love how Neil talked about the Industrial Revolution and the similarities of what's going to happen with the AI revolution. The Industrial Revolution took a huge number of jobs, but it also created a lot of opportunity. And those people that saw that coming, those people that had the foresight and the motivation, became extremely wealthy during that time. They thrived. A lot of examples on what you can do now. A lot of business ideas that aren't even out there that you could do now. I find this course to be of great value. If you're looking to change your financial situation and become your own boss, become financially independent, to start breaking away from the system, I highly recommend this course.
Okay, continuing on in the US then, ABC News ratings absolutely plummet after the debate moderation backlash. ABC World's News Tonight saw a 12% decline in viewership, dropping from 7.6 to 6.7 million per episode after the host David Muir's performance as a moderator during the September 10th presidential debate between Trump and Harris. The claim is, and the heavy criticism is, which I would agree with actually because I watched the full debate, the criticism is that they fact-checked Trump all the way throughout, but they didn't fact-check Harris. Now, they defended themselves with saying they didn't need to fact-check her because she hasn't been lying all the time. So that's why they needed to fact-check Trump. But actually, they did do a fact-check afterwards of Harris and found that some of the things she had said was not correct. One of them was saying that there's no US military personnel serving overseas at the moment, or words to that effect. But either way, a survey conducted afterwards of ABC viewers agreed that the debate was unfair and swayed towards Harris. And I've got to say, I thought it was strange that Trump agreed to that debate in the first place, considering that the owner of ABC is friends with Kamala Harris's husbands, very close friends, and therefore friends with her. So I thought it was strange in the first place, but hey, we'll see. I doubt he'll do a second debate after that, because the media had a field day with it. Let's just take a moment to appreciate the view here. Wow, look at this. It's absolutely beautiful. And we're going to walk all the way down the mountain here. Another quick update then, we talked about the Venezuelan gangs that had taken control of an apartment complex in the US. More specifically, it was Aurora, Colorado. Well, now there's an update saying that the police have issued a assistance memo to the apartment complex's owner, saying that they can help to come over and I don't know if they're going to evict or what, but do some sort of policing to try and reduce the gang activity and even remove them from the block. Good luck with that. I think it would turn into a massive shootout actually. But I thought it was interesting that they put out that statement, because mainstream media was saying the whole thing was a conspiracy, and we even had the governor saying that no, it's not true, even though there was video footage of them going through the block. It was just weird, but the media is weird these days. It's I remember, and many of you will remember as well, back to the days when we had a somewhat unbiased media, even politics, if you think right back to the day in the US and the UK and other places. It was never this left and right. It was a lot more balanced, and I think we had much better days, much better prosperity. The country was much better when things were a lot more balanced, but now we just seem to have this fierce fight between left and right that goes on, is just non-stop all the time. And it's sad really when you think about it. It really is, but I think the pendulum will swing back eventually. It's just going to take a bit of time. What we'll most likely see is this hard left going eventually hard right in the next 5 to 6 years, maybe a bit longer for other countries, and we'll see some bad things take place, but then eventually it will swing back to a more centralist position, which I think will be best for everyone. But another article that just came out was about the US healthcare, and this was even surprising for me. I'd not heard or not even thought about this for a while, but US healthcare now, listen to this, is ranked among the worst in the developed nations index. It says, in fact, if you take it ranked among the top 10, they are worst in the top 10. The Commonwealth Fund, it says, despite Americans spending nearly double on healthcare compared to other countries, the US ranks worse across all 5 sectors. But not only that, the US has the lowest life expectancy out of the developed nations. We've got some statistics on this and infographics as well. And the average life expectancy for men in the US is 74 and 80 for women. Now, compare that to Switzerland, where it's 82 for men, so 8 years older. You just move from the US to Switzerland, you're going to live 8 years longer. And for women, it's 80 up to 85. So again, move to Switzerland and you'll have 5 to 8 years longer. Wow. And the reason I was kind of surprised by that was when I was in the US, I know that I felt the healthcare was a lot better than the UK. I really did, because when I was in the UK, oftentimes I'd have to wait forever for a doctor, which is strange now, because whenever I go to Thailand or other places where I stay, if I need to see a doctor or I need anything done, I'll literally just jump in on the BTS or the train or jump in a cab. And when I get to the hospital, I haven't even called ahead, I'll usually be seen within about 15 minutes. And even if I need, let's say I want to do an annual health checkup with, sometimes they do over 100 different things they'll check you for, might cost you a few £100, something like that. Maybe £500 if you really go overboard and have a massive checkup. So you're talking $600 or so. What would that get you in the US or the UK? Probably get you one scan or something like that. It is just strange, this world we now live in. And there's even a report out today, and this group of influential people want to either disband the NHS or do a massive overhaul of the NHS, and people are furious today. I was reading some of the articles and listening to some of the commentators. this one, oh boy, this one, they should have saw this one coming. So they're saying despite junior doctors getting a 22% pay rise and everything's been signed, everything's been agreed, now the unions come back and said, oh, hold on, whoa, wait, this 22% pay rise, no, this was just the starting point for the conversation. No, we still might strike and we for even more pay. So I thought that was quite funny. I mean, who negotiated that deal? I really don't know. Good for the junior doctors and the unions there, but for the NHS and the public funds that go into it, that was not. Oh boy. And I always love a weird or wacky or amusing story of the week. I try and put one in at the end. Well, this one made me laugh today. Hold on, let's get a good spot down here to talk about this one. This one really made me laugh. So what's happening in the UK is they're really struggling to retain teachers. So there's a big problem with recruitment, retention, etc. They've done all these surveys and studies as to why this is. And I mean, I can give you just one example here. This is one survey. This was by Teach First. It showed that 73% of 16 to 24-year-olds view teaching as purposeful, but they don't want to do it because they see it as stressful, poorly paid, and not an exciting career. But if you look at some of the other surveys of this same group polled, things like they want to be social media influencers, they want to be a YouTuber like me, or they want to do stuff like this. This seems to be the thing everyone wants to do these days, or a celebrity, or a sports star, or something like that. But here's what they have come up with anyway. I don't know who this is, the government, the teaching association, it doesn't say who. So here's what they're proposing, and this is in England. They're going to start putting in incentives like 2 free periods a week for teachers, 1 day off every 2 weeks, and also more time at home to address this recruitment issue. So hold on, isn't that going to make it worse, having more time at home? Unless they mean more time at home to actual do teaching work and prepare and stuff like that. If that's the case, then I'm all for that, because I think it's important to just stop and think and plan. And if you're just go all the time, and I talk about this a lot, that how I spend at least 30 minutes a day just in thinking time and planning, and I'm thinking about the video I'm going to do of the day, and I'm always thinking and planning and setting my goals and taking action and things like that. But I know, because I've got friends who are teachers, they say they just go non-stop all the time. So I can understand how that might be challenging. But I honestly don't think that what they're proposing here is going to recruit more teachers. I just can't see it. If it was purely about getting more time off, well, teachers get a good amount of breaks. I know you guys work really hard through the year. I'm not questioning that. What I'm saying is, teachers get a good time off. They get good breaks, especially in the UK with the different school holidays. But then I would assume that you're doing lots of sort of work during those school holidays and preparing and sort of decompressing, ready for the next term. But I just thought it was funny that out of all these proposals, they didn't even mention a pay rise. I mean, surely that would be the most obvious one, to offer a pay rise and somehow try and reduce the levels of stress. But no, let's just give more time off, and maybe that will work. I don't know who does these plans, but let's see how effective it will be anyway. All right, well, I'm going to continue on my walk today. It is hot. It is very hot and sunny. It's beautiful. I'm going to continue on my walk. They've cleared this area recently for timber. That's what they do here on the island, across some of the plantations every once in a while. And then they do replant. So if you're wondering why all this has been felled, they have felled it for timber. So we'll wrap up there today then. I hope you enjoyed the walk in this beautiful, beautiful sunshine today. It's pretty hot actually. Definitely quite hot today. So thanks for being online. Remember to grab the course if you haven't already. And apart from that, I will see you tomorrow. Take care. God bless. See you then.